Today, the Seiko SKX009. One more of a million reviews on this watch. I want to, well, this is the blue box it came in. It's an SKX009K, which I believe means it's made in Indonesia. And there it is. That's the box it comes in. And so, like everything else I own, this one comes with a story, which I'm going to share with you. I sold last year some motorcycles. I'm not the kind of guy that can afford to buy fancy watches, and yet I love watches. I love, I don't know, studying them, reading about them, finding out about them on the internet. And when I sold a motorcycle, I decided, first of all, I decided I wanted to buy a watch from a jewelry store. And I've lost that interest because I thought what I'll do is I'll go buy the Seiko Turtle, the Paddy watch. And I went in and I told this story in another video. But so I went in and I had the money in my pocket. And this is a lesson for all salesmen, no matter what you're selling, guitars, motorcycles, watches, what jewelry, rings, whatever you're selling, this is a good lesson. So I walked in and the salesman says, "What can I do for you today?" I said, "I'm interested in that watch," and I pointed to the Turtle. And he shook his head. He said, "Are you a diver?" And I said, "No, I'm not a diver." He says, "That watch is no good to you unless you're a diver." And, I thought, I said, "Well, I'm just interested in that watch I'd like to buy." He says, No, let me show you other watches." And he starts looking at other watches, pulling out other watches, just randomly, watches that I wasn't interested in. I said, "No, I really want to see that one." And he said, "That watch is no good to you unless you're a diver," kind of reprovingly. And he said, what is it you want from that watch?" And I said, "Does it tell time?" And he said, No, that's a watch specifically made for a diver." So all in all, I left with telling him, "No, I've changed my mind, I don't want a watch." And I went home immediately and ordered this watch from the internet. And I have had it now for several months, and I've been waiting to do this review. And I will now tell you a little bit about the SKX. The Seiko SKX009 Pepsi is a beautiful watch, and it's a fun watch to wear because it has an automatic movement. It's not an expensive watch. People on the internet either criticize it as a silly cheap watch or love it as a popular entry-level dive watch. I love it. It's a beautiful watch to wear, and people make nice comments to me when I wear it. The hard thing for me, and I'm going to experiment with this soon, is the bracelet. It took me a while, and it's still taking me a while to get used to a bracelet. I had it sized for me, which was really nice, but it was just, it's still, depending on how your body is, and whether you're, I don't know, I don't know how to explain the anatomy of it. Some days it fits perfectly, and some days it jangles on and falls down onto my lower wrist. And I think about, well, I don't know, maybe I should get it resized. Maybe I should have somebody make it even tighter. I don't know about that. I am going to try it on a different band or bracelet and see how that works out. It's fun to play with the bezel, and I've actually used it to time things. It is a blue face, although in certain light it almost seems black. It's very dark. I love the day date feature, and one thing I have learned from this watch, let me tell you what I've learned from this watch. Whatever watch I have in the future, whatever watches I buy will have two features that are not negotiable. One, easy to read. I need to be able to glance at my watch and see what time it is. With multiple complications or delicate hands, if you have to look and see, okay, now where's that thing pointing? Where are the hands amidst all of the confusion on the face? I don't want that. And that's kind of what these dive watches are for. When they're actually used in diving, I guess they want it to be, the loom is strong and the hands are easy to read, and so you know exactly what time it is at a glance. I love that, and all watches I buy in the future will have that feature. And the day date, at least the date, is a must, because Reasons that I look at my watch, at the top of that list is to know the date when I'm writing the date on a document. Okay, what day is it today? I look at my wrist. Once again, and I say in all these videos, I'll point out that people that I know who don't like watches or don't see the reason for watches will say, well, the time is on your phone. You can read the time by looking at your phone, which is true, but you have to dig the phone out of your pocket. I love being able to look at my wrist to see what time it is. So wearing a watch has become a habit for me that I love. Also, watches like this bring comments. And you shouldn't buy a watch. I'm not telling you to buy a watch because of what other people think. Definitely that's a bad idea. But it is fun to have people say, that's a cool watch. Tell me about your watch. And this watch is one of those that makes people say, tell me about your watch. It's not very big around. I'm not going to go into, like a lot of watch reviewers, the exact dimensions and size. You can look those up for yourself. It fits on my wrist really well. It's tall. I mean, it's tall, so it doesn't have the low, slim profile that slips under a cuff like a dress watch. This is what it looks like on my big fat wrist. So, I mean, if you I'm an old guy. I'm in my 50s, and I'm nice and stout and chunky. So that's what it looks like on my wrist, which I think it looks very sporty, really good. It looks good when I'm dressed up. It looks good when I'm very casual, and it frequently brings a comment. You know, hey, tell me about your wristwatch. That's really neat, and that makes me proud. See, today is a day where it fits just right. There are days when I put it on and it jangles a little bit, and like I say, I could have it sized again, but then on a day like today, it would be too tight. I don't know if some people may wear their wristwatch a little farther toward the hand than I do. These are things that I'm learning and developing my own style and feelings about what I prefer in a watch. But this is the Seiko SKX009 with a Pepsi bezel. I love that. And easy and simple to read. Efficient date. I know what day of the week it is. See, and the day, the date feature is good for me because I work shift work, and there are literally days when I don't know if it's a Monday or a Friday because it moves around so much. It's a fireman's shift, so I'm working 4 days on, 3 days off, 2 days on, 2 days off, just a real crazy schedule. And so I love being able to glance at my watch and knowing what the day is and what the date is. And though, like I say, those are features I will always expect from a watch. Now, I see people joke about Seikos. They'd never wear a Seiko. They'd never own a Seiko. Good for you. Don't get one. You get what you want. For me, I love Seiko. I love this watch, and I am proud to wear it. So that's the Seiko SKX009 from my point of view, a poor man with a poor man's watch collection. Hey, thanks very much.